Henry and his friends just saw a green, fuzzy arm reach out from behind a curtain at the planetarium. This is Henry Heckelbeck Is Out of This World, Part 2, from the Oosterhout Free Library Book Bite series, written by Wanda Coven, illustrated by Priscilla Burris, published by Little Simon, and I'm Miss Melissa. "Attention, space explorers," called Mr. Astro. "We're about to enter the Spaceatorium for some educational fun." Then he headed away from the mysterious curtain. This is no time for educational fun," Henry groaned. "We have to track down an alien." Max wedged between the boys and slung her arms around their shoulders. "Don't worry, guys," she said. "We can do our alien spy work at lunch." Then she began to walk, pushing the boys along with her. In the Spaceatorium, they watched a movie about the universe. Henry loved it so much that he almost forgot about the alien. Almost. When the lights came back on, the kids rubbed their eyes. "What did everyone learn?" asked Mr. Astro. He called on Nina. "I learned that even though craters make the moon look like Swiss cheese, the moon's not actually made of cheese," said Nina. Sam waved his hand in the air until Mr. Astro called on him. Sam started, "From Earth, it may look like the moon has a face, but there's no man in the moon." "But there has been a man on the moon," Max added. Then Mr. Astro called on Henry. "The film said there are probably other life forms in the universe," noted Henry. "And someday, very soon, I plan to prove it." The class cheered and giggled. Then everyone filed out of the Spaceatorium and went into the food lab. "It's launch time!" cried Henry as they sat around a table. "Get it? Launch time instead of lunch time?" "Well, I'm not hungry," said Max. "Me neither," Henry agreed. "It's time to find out what's behind that curtain." Dudley's eyes darted from side to side. "But what about the do not enter sign?" "We're spies, Dudley, not chickens," Max reminded him. Dudley pushed back his chair and stood up. "Okay, fellow spies, let's go find ourselves an alien." The three spies slipped out of the food lab. Then they zipped to the mysterious curtains. They pressed their backs against the wall and sidestepped closer. Max checked in both directions. "Okay, Henry," she said. "Go." He crept to the middle of the curtains and poked his head between them. No aliens, but he did see something else. "Whoa!" Henry gasped. "What?" asked the others as they peeked behind the curtains too. "It's a real spaceship!" cried Dudley. Max pushed away past Dudley and began to walk towards the spaceship. "Max, what are you doing?" Henry whisper shouted. She kept walking and pushed a button on the side of the spaceship. Zoop! The door opened and a walkway glided down. Max climbed on board. "She did not just do that," said Dudley. Henry nodded. "Yep, she definitely did. Let's go." They sprinted after Max and leaped aboard the spaceship. Max was sitting at a control panel, which had a large black screen above it. "Wow!" Henry cried as he forgot all about his worries. "This is like being inside a video game, only better." There was a big red button that pulsed with light in the middle of the control panel. "I wonder what that does?" Dudley asked. "Only one way to find out," said Max as she reached to the button. "No!" Henry warned. Max laughed. "I was just kidding, Henry." Then Dudley cried, "Guys, someone's coming!" They all froze and listened to the sound of footsteps outside. "Hide!" Henry whispered and hid behind the door. Dudley dropped to his knees and crawled under the control panel. Max did the unthinkable. She pushed the red button. Beep, zoop, 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 whoosh! The door flipped shut, and all the buttons on the control panel started blinking wildly. The spaceship had come to life. Dudley jumped up to his feet and screamed, "What's happening?" "Calm down, silly," said Max. "We're just hiding. It's not like the spaceship is going to blast off into space." But then a pixelated face appeared on the screen and said, "Hello, space explorers. Please secure your safety belts and prepare to blast off into space." Henry ran his hands through his hair and said, "Prepare to what?" "We'd better buckle up," said Max as she reached for her safety belt. But Henry and Dudley were too busy pushing as many buttons as on the control panel as they could. "We have to stop this thing," Dudley said. Henry pushed the big red button again with the heel of his hand. "Maybe this will reverse what Max did," he said. But instead, numbers started counting down on the screen. "Time remaining 5 seconds, the spaceship announced. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Henry and Dudley stumbled back to the seats beside Max and strapped themselves in. "Blast off!" The spaceship shuddered as it lifted off. The kids watched the screen in disbelief. The spaceship hurtled out of the Earth's atmosphere. Blue skies had given way to the darkness of outer space. "Wow!" Max exclaimed. "The stars seemed so close." Henry and Dudley stared at Max, who seemed to have had no idea what she'd done. "The stars are close," Henry barked, "because, if you haven't noticed, we're in outer space." "Destination, the moon," the spaceship announced. I'd kind of like to be on that spaceship, but I'd probably get in trouble back at school. I'll see you next time from the Oosterhout Free Library, and we'll see if they get to the moon.